How's everybody doing today? Today I just wanted to do a little homework hints video on this list assignment that you have where you have to do a math test. So I want to just look at the design first. I dragged out 5 text boxes. I called them question 1, question 2, 3, 4, and 5. I have some labels next to them that just hold the math question that the student is supposed to answer. What you can't see over here, I have some labels that let me go here, I'll click down. I have LBL answer 1, LBL answer 2, 3, 4, and 5. They're over here next to each of the text boxes. Now the reason I can't see them is because I don't have any text in there yet. You can always go in your properties, click the down arrow, and it shows you all the widgets that you've brought out. If I go to LBL answer 1, I can see it's there. It shows me that little thing. I'm going to use those to tell the student if their answer was right or wrong. So I've got my text boxes, I've got my labels, I've got a button and another text box down here. What I wanted to do now is start looking at the code. So the first thing I did is I defined a text box list. Remember, in lists you can put anything you want in it. And I also defined a label list. Remember, I've got 5 text boxes, and right next to those I have 5 different labels. What I did here is I just defined a counter. I load my text box list with my 5 text boxes, load my label list with my 5 labels, and then what I did, I want to be able to see if they got the right answers. So I made a third list, which is just the correct answers. This 6, 10, 3, 12, 3. If I go back to my form, those are the correct answers to the questions that I have, the math questions. So what's kind of cool is all these lists work together. Since I have lists, I can use a loop just to go through all of them. Inside my loop, I've got an if statement. Basically, for each text box, I have the if statement. Okay, if my text box list started out, my counter is going to be 0, so it's going to be my first text box, equals my answer. Now I use the same counter because everything matches up. The answer to my first text box is my first answer. So it makes it really easy to program it this way. What happens is I'm going to say, okay, if this is true, if what they put in the text box actually corresponds to my answer list, I want the label next to it to just say, correct, yeah, you got this right. And since it's a 5 questions, they're going to be 20 points each, I'm going to bump up their score by 20 points. Now I have an else clause on this if statement, meaning if this isn't true, they got it wrong. What I want to do is, in my label, I'm going to put wrong, correct answer is, and then I use my answers list to put out the correct answer. Once I go through the entire loop, meaning I go through all 5 text boxes, I just display the score in the text box. Now, it's a pretty slick little program. If you look at it, let's say, okay, the student takes this, they say, oh, 4 plus 2 is 6, 3 plus 7 is 10, 8 minus 5 is 3, 3 times 4 is, they get this mixed up, they say 16, and maybe they're not so good on division. 12 divided by 4 they think is 4. So I hit the button. What happens, it goes through the whole loop. I had 3 correct, which triggered my if statement to put in correct. On the wrong answer, says wrong, correct answer is, pulls it from my answers list, here, and the score is 60. They say, oh, I make a fix here, put in the 3, score it again, it fixes it. Now they've got an 80. But it's kind of neat. I've got 3 lists all working together. I've got a loop, I've got if statements, so we're really starting to put a lot of different concepts together with this one. Hopefully you can see how this all goes together, and hopefully this will be helpful for you to do your assignment. Now on yours, obviously you have to do a little more because you have 20 questions instead of 5, and you have to do a little bit of error checking as well. But like I say, hopefully this will point you in the right direction so you can pull this off. Anyhow, hopefully that was helpful. We'll see you soon.